Because one thing about it, I will never be stuck. That's my overall message. Never let yourself be stuck and miserable doing something you don't like. Hey, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Obviously, I haven't been here for a couple months since my Puerto Rico vlog, which was really fun. It was such a chill trip. Puerto Rico wasn't necessarily my favorite place I went, but it was definitely still fun. There was definitely some good highlights from the trip. But fast forward to now, what's been going on recently and a lot of changes and a lot of realizations that I've had this year. Kind of just about like what I've been doing, what I've stopped, since obviously I haven't really posted that much on YouTube lately, and a lot has changed. First, we're also gonna run some errands in this video or just an errand, because as you can see, my brows are looking crazy. I gotta get my brows done. If only the hair on my head grew like the hair on my eyebrows, it would be over. But clearly, God had to humble me in some way. But that's fine, that's fine. Love you, Jesus, amen. But I'm about to head out right now because I wanna get these eyebrows done. I don't wanna be talking to y'all like looking crazy. Quick rundown, this is the cologne that I'm wearing today. I really don't like it, it's a YSL cologne. It reminds me of my grandma's perfume. Love you, grandma, but I'm not trying to smell like you. But honestly, I'm just trying to use it up. Like, it's whatever. Maybe it like smells better on me, but whatever. I have also been obsessed with wearing my Sambas, so I'm of course wearing these, and then I just have like some shorts on and this essential shirt. Let's head out. All right, we've touched down at the spot, but I'm waiting for a closer parking spot because honestly, I'm just too lazy to like try to find another spot. So we can just get into this video while I wait because it kind of has multiple parts. I never really talked too much about my job on here just because I didn't like it. I wasn't interested in it. So I really didn't talk about it. I didn't really talk about what I did for work, none of that stuff. So we're gonna kind of get into that because we got to get into that for it to all make sense. When I first moved to Chicago after I graduated, I was working as a travel CNA, which was not related to my degree at all in the slightest. I majored in enterprise leadership. It was just because it was easier to major in that than it was for business, and I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing for real. I thought I wanted to do like social media management, but then I realized they don't make any money. So yeah, I was just doing enterprise leadership. I'm like, whatever, I can do like marketing type stuff. I liked marketing, I liked business and stuff like that. But I soon realized I don't like that stuff working for somebody else. I like doing it for my own business, which we'll get into that later in the video because I eventually started a business down the line. And as you can see by the title, quit that business. Yeah, so I just continued to do what I knew, which was working as a CNA. I worked in healthcare since I was in high school. I started taking travel contracts where I was getting paid really good. Like when you think of CNA, you don't think of high pay because they don't get paid when they're working staff. But the travel contracts, I was making like $1,400 a week net. Isn't that what you take home? That word, that eats me up. But I was taking home like $1,400 a week. So it was sweet. And I was working 3 days a week. I loved it. And then I'm like, you know what? I think we got to put this degree to use. I turned 26. I'm like, okay, I should really get a full-time job with benefits because when you travel, you don't get any benefits. So I'm like, okay, it's time to enter my corporate era. So I started applying to jobs and I literally had no experience because like I said, in college, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I really had no like corporate dreams of like, I really want to do this. So I never did any internships or anything. So I had no corporate experience. So it was like a little bit hard to get a job, but not really as hard as I thought it would be. But yeah, I ended up getting a job pretty quick and I kind of attribute that to staying within the medical field, which was my experience, but kind of venturing out to something a little bit less clinical. So basically what I was doing was like a sales support rep for a medical device company. So I still like worked in a hospital setting and like I worked in a clinic fitting patients in like wrist braces, boots, just stuff like that part of the week. And then the other part of the week, I was like kind of out traveling around the Chicago suburbs, meeting patients in different facilities and getting them set up in devices and like knee braces and stuff like that. And then eventually, as I continued to grow with the company, I literally wasn't even there for a year. But one thing about me, I'm a very good, even though I don't like being an employee, I'm a very good employee and like I learned really quick. So I caught on really quick to everything. And I was fastly transitioning into more of like a sales type of role, which I was never interested in from the very start or still now. So as soon as I saw my job start to go into more of a sales rep role and I took on a lot more responsibility for the same amount of pay, it was just becoming too much. And so finally I had to let my boss know the end of last year. It was like right around Christmas time that come the new year, like I'm done here. So he offered me more money and like really wanted me to try to stay, but like I really just wasn't interested in becoming a sales rep. Like I had no interest in that. Like it's so much work. It's like people are calling you all the time. Like it's a lot of work. So I just wasn't interested in it. I ended up stopping there in January and I really had no job lined up, but I quickly again got a job at a hospital. In this job, my role title was a patient liaison. So basically what I did was primary care clinic, and whenever you message in on the little My Chart messages, basically I was in charge of responding to my chart messages that were non-clinical. If they were clinical, I'd forward them to the doctor. And then I was handling like referrals, prior auths, like it was more of like an admin role in the medical field. And I thought I was going to be making the same kind of to what I was making in my previous role, which I forgot to say, which was like 55K, but I was also making a stipend, and stipends aren't taxed. And that's what I didn't realize was really contributing to my pay, because then I moved into this role where I was making $25 an hour. It was hourly, not salary. And I quickly realized that there is a big difference between that hourly role, not getting any stipend, and having a stipend and being salary. Like, I just was not making enough money, and it was a lot more of a strict environment. Like my last job, I had a lot of freedom. Like I said, like I was in clinic, like it started off 3 days a week, and then it kind of transitioned to like only one, because I really started to train to be like more of a sales rep. So I was like, I pretty much did whatever I wanted like all day, and I really didn't realize how much freedom I had, and I really took that for granted. And so when I got in this position and I had to be in an office 5 days a week, only 30-minute lunch break, where I had to be like clocked in on time, clocked out on time. Like when I was salary, I didn't have to clock in, I didn't have to do anything. I had a lot of freedom. I had a lot of freedom that I took for granted. And so in this position, y'all, why did I last a month? I lasted a month in this position. And I kept being late because like I had to take the bus because I was working downtown, and parking was $150 a month. Like, no. So I kept having to take the bus. The bus was always late. I was always late. So it was my first month, and I had already been late like 3 times. So I'm like, I was about to be late again. That's actually a whole nother story I can get into another time. It wasn't even my fault that time. I would have been on time, but something happened. Literally, I just quit. Like, I have never quit a job before. Like, I'm very like by the books. That's one thing about me. Like, I'm very like by the rules. And I just quit the job. Like, I literally just emailed them like, I will no longer be there. Y'all can keep my stuff. Like, I don't need anything back. They recently like sent all my crap from my desk. I'm like, y'all could have kept that. I don't even need any of that. So that was that job. I just quit there. And that time I literally had no backup plan. Like, I literally quit there, and I'm just like, if all else fails, I can always go back to CNA. I feel like that's what always saved me, was like, I always had that backup plan. And that's kind of my #1 tip, is like getting into something where you can always fall back onto it, because I always had that fallback of my CNA. And so I was never stressed about getting a job, because I'm like, if worst comes to worst, I'll just go back to being a travel CNA. I'll have to be away from home and all that stuff, but like, I'm gonna have money at the end of the day. We're gonna get into my last job that I'm currently at right now, and why I'm gonna be leaving that 3rd job. This is all less than a year, y'all. I am chaotic. But I'm about to get a closer parking spot, going to get these eyebrows done, and we'll be back. Okay, well, that was a flop. I literally went in there, and it was this lady that I've let do my brows a couple times, and every time she does them, I just don't like them. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not wasting another $15. Actually, it's more like 18, because I always tip. And last time I just couldn't even tip her because I just did not like them. And I just can't do that today. So I'm like, do you know when the other woman will be back? And she said she'll be back in like a couple hours, but I don't really have anything to do. Like, this was my only errand today, and so I might have to just go a different day. But there is an acai place that I really want to try, so I think we're gonna head there instead. But since we're here and I paid for this spot, let's get through the rest of this, what I was yapping about before I tried to go in there and get my eyebrows done. Rewind, after I quit that job, I was applying to jobs like crazy. I had never applied to jobs this crazy before, but I was just on LinkedIn like all day long, literally filtering the jobs by recently posted. And as soon as jobs would get posted, I would just apply. Finally, I got one that hit for a remote position that was in like insurance operations. I had experience working with insurance from my last 2 jobs, so that's, I'm assuming, what got me there. It was remote, which I love. The bad thing though was the pay. Well, actually there was multiple bad things, but I think I've touched on it in another video. So the pay was horrible. There was no benefits. Yeah, that was really the only bad things, which are major things. But I was just kind of at the point like, this is only a temporary, oh, it was also a temporary position. So I'm like, whatever, April to the end of July, it's fine. I'm gonna just kind of take this time to reassess and kind of just like figure out my life, because I really, this past year was just like, kind of like, I don't know where my head was, but like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was just really lost, and I had never been in that space before. I've always been someone that like knows exactly what they want and just go get exactly what I want. And for the first time in my life, I was like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I'm doing. And I just felt really lost, which is like a really hard place to be in. So I ended up just like taking the job, and I'm just like, whatever, I can work from home. I can do whatever I want. And honestly, that position was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because even though it didn't pay good, I don't have benefits. Well, I ended up buying benefits. It just kind of like gave me that time to sit back and really realize what I want and what I don't want. And the fact that I don't want to just go apply to another job just to have another job. And quite frankly, I don't want to be working in corporate at all. Then it was just kind of on to like, okay, so you kind of confirm that you don't want to be doing this because you've tried all different methods of trying to work. Like you've worked in person, you've worked kind of like a hybrid schedule, you've worked now remote, and you just don't like any of it. So it's not necessarily the job at this point. It's been less than a year and you've been through 3 jobs. It's you. And that's literally what I came to the realization of. And then I just had to slowly start the process of figuring out like, what do I want to do? Because obviously, unfortunately, I have to work doing something. So what can I do that I always like doing? And that's where I was at for a while, just kind of trying to figure it out. And all during that time, I also had a business that I had started last year as well, because that was always my end goal. Was I always wanted to own my own business. I always saw myself working for myself. And it's just so interesting how things come very full circle. I definitely still see that for myself, but I definitely was able to learn that I see it for myself in a different way that I never realized. I need my acai bowl and I'm yapping too much, so we'll get into that after I have my acai. So big and greedy. This is the biggest acai bowl that I've ever seen, and low-key, it looks like the best. Like, they really filled this up. It definitely came out of an ice cream machine, so I'm like, is this even healthy? Like, is this just froyo? I don't know. It's good though. I got banana, strawberry, chia seed, granola, peanut butter, nibs. Yeah, it's good. One thing about me, I'm an acai bowl connoisseur. It was $12. Definitely worth it. Like a 9.5 out of 10. And everything is like really fresh, so. I'm about to be greedy and then I'll be back. Well, it might have been good. Might have been good. I would really say solid 9.5, maybe even a solid 10 out of 10. That was fire. But anyways, I'm back at the eyebrow place because I'm like, I'm not about to drive home. By the time I get home, I would have to drive back in like 30 minutes. So I'm like, whatever. We're just going to chill out here and just wait until this lady comes back. I'm right in front of the door, so I'm going to be watching for her. So like I said, I had started a business last year as well, right around the time that I started my new corporate job. Well, my first new corporate job. Essentially, I was just like the marketing intermediate between cleaning people and customers that were needing cleaning. So, I mean, some people have heard of it. It's pretty like, I feel like it's becoming like trendy now, but basically I would just like have a website and market cleaning services. And when a client would book, I would have cleaners that I would call and they would go do the job and I'd take a cut of the job and they would get a cut of the job as well. And I kind of worked on that for like a year. And honestly, it brought me a lot of stress. It really woke me up to how stressful being a business owner is. It's really not easy. It's really not just like glamorized and what social media makes it seem, which I knew going into it, but I feel like you don't fully realize until you actually start doing it. So I did that for about a year as well, before kind of realizing that this really isn't for me. Like, I like being a business owner, but not in this sense and not with this business. Like, this just isn't what's meant for me. And I just kind of felt that like you're really stressing yourself out over this and it's not even something that you really want to be doing. So there is like a couple clients that I'm just kind of still finishing up with. Like, if there was like easy clients, easy cleaning jobs, I would just take the jobs and use it for like extra money. So I'm still kind of working with like a couple clients. I had like some commercial clients and some residential clients. But I'm going to be phasing those off soon because I'm going to be leaving Chicago at the end of July. Not permanently, but for some time probably. Our current lease is up in our apartment at the end of this month, and my boyfriend has to move for his job, and I don't really know where I'm going yet. So that's kind of still up in the air, but I have not re-signed a lease here yet. So everything's kind of still up in the air. But what is for sure, we have to be out of our apartment towards the end of July, and I booked me a trip for Miami to go stay for a week just to kind of like unwind and reset and relax. And I'm just like, I don't have any rent to pay, I don't have anywhere to live, so I might as well go stay in Miami. So I booked my hotel yesterday and I'm going to be in Miami for like a week, just chilling, relaxing. It's going to be just like a very chill reset, which really all my trips are. I just like to have like relaxing vacations where we just kind of do like maybe like one main thing a day, but then like we just kind of do wherever the wind takes us the rest of the day. So that's what I'm going to be doing towards the end of July, which I'm really excited about. I love Miami bad, and I haven't been there for a while, so I'm really excited to go back to Miami, just kind of hang out there for a week. Rewind a little bit to some more of like the business stuff. Really what I realized from that, like I was saying, was I like being a business owner, but there's multiple ways you can be a business owner without like the traditional sense of like owning a service business or selling something. Like there's other ways to be an entrepreneur and a business owner than having a business like that. And that's kind of what I realized, or there's just other ways to work for yourself and have like the freedoms of being a business owner that you can get in other places. And that's what having this business really taught me and really showed me. And that's just kind of where I'm going with it now. I definitely am still interested in entrepreneurship. Right now it's kind of on pause just because I have other things that I'm kind of planning in my mind, which we'll touch on in the next video. But later on down the line, just kind of how I plan to set my life up is going to be entrepreneurship wise, and also just very much so like working for myself in a sense. So that's really what I took from that, and I'm just really excited and grateful for all of the lessons that I learned this year, because this was probably my hardest year in I don't know how long. Honestly, I don't think I've really ever had a year like I've had this year as far as like professional wise and just like self wise, because professional wise, like obviously that's a big thing, but it all just really goes hand in hand. So it was just a very big like growth period and learning period about myself. It really is true. Like the older you get, the more your frontal lobe develops, the more you can like think clearly and really realize what you want and what you want for your life. And it's just like getting older is really a blessing and a curse. It's so crazy. Like I'm about to turn 27 this month, which is I need therapy, but it is so crazy. Like with age, everything really does just kind of work out and everything comes clearer. Obviously, I wish I could have known everything I know now originally years ago, but obviously that's not possible. And I'm obviously not getting any younger, so I might as well just start now and just kind of redirect my life to what I want it to be now. That's a good thing about life. You can always change. You can always just do what you want, and I love that. Because one thing about it, I will never be stuck. And that's my message. That's my overall message. Never let yourself be stuck and miserable doing something you don't like. There is always a way out. It's gonna be hard. It's definitely gonna be hard. But you can always get out of it, and don't stick somewhere that you're not happy, whether that be a job, whether that just be like an industry specifically or a relationship, anything. Just don't stick where you aren't happy. And that's what I learned this year. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around. If you stuck around, if you're new, hey, hi, what's up? Definitely hit that subscribe button and make sure to like this video. And yeah, I'll see y'all in my next video. Hopefully my eyebrow lady comes soon so I can get these together for y'all for the next video. Okay, bye.